Hey guys, and welcome back to Austin After 40. You'll have to forgive the sheet stretched across a stud wall. Things are in progress. It will improve as we move on. Okay, so one of the biggest reasons I decided to make this video is I've been actually emailed by quite a few older people at this point, and I realized that I've really been focusing on how EMS, like how to get the most out of EMS. So I kind of wanted to make this to kind of cover the users who basically want to get back to baseline. So the people who've had muscle atrophy, whether you're elderly or you have recovered from surgery or an injury or something like that. Again, talk to your doctor. I wanted to go through EMS and how to start gently and build up to where you can do the regular workouts that Katalyst has in its app. Katalyst is a full-body electro-muscle stimulation suit that can flex every major muscle on your body for 4 seconds on, 4 seconds off. This simulates in one 20-minute workout the equivalent of 4 to 5 hours of weightlifting in the gym. It seems like cheating, but it's clinically backed science, and the incredible muscle building potential and the real-world strength gains are incredible. Also, if you're thinking of getting a suit, my viewers should always try my coupon, Austin After 40. I'll always work to get you the most discount I can, and sometimes, like now, it's stackable with their current sale. So as we age, one of the things that starts to impact our quality of life the most is this bone density loss as well as muscle loss, right? So just muscle mass tends to decrease. If the inactivity caused this or just age started to cause this, you can combat this. One of the best things that is prescribed for this is resistance training. A lot of people in the past have gotten into pools and they use these weights with fins on them to kind of do curls and stuff inside the pool because it's taking weight off of your joint. Now we have EMS to basically replace this non-impact movement, this concern that the weights are going to injure your joints and some of that. So before we go too much further, I want to state that I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube talking about EMS stuff. So if you have any concerns or if you want to know how EMS is going to end up impacting your particular medical conditions, you should really talk to your doctor, get their take on it, and get their approval to kind of go forward. And they might even have some kind of training movements for you and some sort of program that they can put you on, some sort of like bone density and muscle regeneration rehab program. One of the largest decreasers of quality of life into later years is going to be this lack of activity, this general inactivity. That's why walking like multiple times a week. I think every one of us has seen an 80-year-old, 85-year-old walking the neighborhood every single day. So on that note, if you're my age or younger, start getting in the habit of taking walks now. It's going to help your body fat composition. It's going to help just in general cardio health. You want to wrestle with your great-grandkids when you're 80 years old. Now is the time to start developing these habits that will allow you to do that in later years. Okay, so if you're on my channel, you wanna learn about EMS, you wanna learn how to apply EMS to your life to get the results that you want. So first things first, EMS is not scary. It is not painful. It's painful for some reason, then you have something wildly misadjusted. If you are kind of older and are kind of freaked out by all the smartphones and the iPads, grab somebody younger, grandkids, kids, and have them help you with your first 3 or 4 workouts. Katalyst has done a phenomenal job in making their app super easy to use and how it integrates with the suit. But the first few times, because none of us are experienced with EMS, it's going to be quite a bit of information dump, whether that information is coming from your muscles being used in different ways that you haven't had them used before, and also the fact that you've never done EMS before is going to be a lot of information overload. The app, setting it up for the first time, that's going to be, you know, it can be a little bit intimidating from the outside after you've used the suit a couple times. Trust me, it's going to be fairly straightforward. It's just going to become fun at some point, like really fun. It literally breaks my heart to see people stop doing the things that they love or stop spending the time with their grandkids rolling around on the floor because their bodies just don't allow them to do it. Whether you're 18 or you're 80, EMS will dramatically improve your life. Okay, just so you don't have to go back through my videos, I want to do a quick recap on what EMS does and how to get the most out of EMS in your situation. So EMS essentially places pads over a muscle group and then mimics the brain signals to flex that muscle. And because it's right there, it's actually able to flex more than your brain can because it's so much more efficient. So the other aspect of that that's really kind of neat is you're able to bypass what would naturally happen in nature, and it's able to flex the fast twitch muscle fibers in addition to the basically endurance or slow twitch muscle fibers. You're able to train the muscles essentially as hard as you would if you exhausted them for an hour in the gym. So you're able to access muscle fibers that you wouldn't be able to access, say, in the first 30 minutes of the gym, or unless you're lifting like a ridiculous amount of weight. You're able to train those muscle fibers now. Like on the first rep of your workout, you're already immediately training those fast twitch muscle fibers. So why would you want to train fast twitch muscle fibers? Well, they are responsible for quick reaction. EMS is not necessarily going to improve your balance, but what it will do is when you go and you trip, your leg will be able to come forward faster, right, to catch you. So you will be able to regain your balance when you do lose it. Those of us in our 30s and 40s and 50s, right, we probably don't even realize how many times we lose our balance throughout the day because we're able to catch our foot and put it out and stop our imbalance from progressing into a fall. So as you lose these fast twitch muscle fibers, you will start to find that you fall more, you can't catch yourself. And you might say that your balance is off, but that's not necessarily the case. Your balance might not be off. You're just not able to stop before it becomes a fall. The other cool aspect of flexing, say, your bicep and your tricep is that actually what ends up happening is as this muscle is contracting and this muscle is contracting at the same time, it's actually pulling on the bone. Okay, so what EMS has been shown to do is it will actually start to increase your bone density. In EMS studies, they've shown that they can stop and even reverse osteoporosis. So as your bones start to degrade and they become more brittle, EMS can actually stop that and maybe even reverse it and start to increase bone density. I want to say in a study, I think it was 100 women, 98 of which completed the study. The ones using EMS, I believe, and I haven't looked at the study in a little bit, but I want to say the bone density went up 0.5% over the course of a year in the EMS group on average, and it went down 0.5% in the placebo group or the control group. So they actually gained bone back in the group that used EMS. That blew me away, and that's something that people should really be aware of as far as EMS goes. So in addition to the studies on the osteoporosis, I have read studies where EMS is actually able to regain all the lost muscle fiber in elderly people, as well as improve upon the muscle that they had lost. So not only are they basically getting yourself back to a baseline of where you were when you were younger, you can actually improve upon the muscle that you maybe had 10 years ago. EMS has basically created a path to be able to get your body back to where it was younger. Also, EMS, because the pads are yelling at your muscles to flex, your brain has to communicate over those pads to have your arms move, for instance. So what this is ending up doing is it actually ends up increasing the quality of the connection between your brain and your muscle. So over the course of 8 to 12 weeks of EMS training, you will be able to access kind of like 15 to 20% more muscle fibers, okay? So this is shown in studies where people using EMS have increased the amount that they can lift by 15%. It also has increased their explosive power by like 15 to 20%. So people, professional athletes that could jump, say, 20 inches now can jump 23 inches, okay? That's insane, and those aspects apply to you as an older person as well. You will be able to regain strength to be able to do things that you didn't think you'd ever be able to do again. And this is not because you're putting on 20 pounds in muscle, it's because you're able to actually access the muscle that you still have. Okay, if you're emailing me, I often refer to this as mind-muscle connection. I abbreviate it as MMC in my emails. So if you're emailing me and you're asking questions about stuff and I forget to reference mind-muscle connection and I just say MMC, What I'm referring to is the connection between your brain and your muscle. So EMS, one of the biggest benefits above resistance training that I see with it is that actually you are improving the communication network between your brain and your muscles to where you're able to get to the point like a climber is, where these guys are really skinny and they're able to like do a one-arm pull-up. It's not because they have this gigantic Popeye arm and the rest of their body's skinny, it's because they're accessing way more muscle fibers than, say, somebody in the gym who's just lifting for size, for instance. So let's lay out some of the basics of how to use EMS and how you can start some exercises and start to strengthen those muscles that are kind of inhibiting your quality of life. There's two things that are going to be important for getting results from the suit, okay? For improving the mind-muscle connection as well as actually building muscle. I would say the first one we'll go over is suit level. When you're setting the muscle levels, when you're setting the individual areas where the muscle is activating, you need to get the muscles to actually activate. So without a reference point in EMS and with, nobody really has used EMS before in the US and, in the entire world. The vast majority of people have not had an experience with EMS. Because of that, it can kind of be difficult to figure out if the suit is doing what it's supposed to do. You're gonna feel a tingle, and that tingle is gonna build as you dial up that muscle. And then you're gonna kind of start to feel the muscle twitching. You wanna actually feel that muscle flex, without you trying to actively flex that muscle. You wanna feel it start to flex. I would stop right there. Now, you can always dial this up later. In that setup video, I talk about making sure that the muscle is flexing when you're concentrating on trying to relax it. I wouldn't necessarily set it there as a less active person. You're trying to get back to where you can be more active. So let's get those muscles just starting to flex and leave it right there. Settings that you dial in the baseline will change as you dial your suit up over the course of weeks in your Katalyst workouts. The Katalyst app is pretty awesome in that way. As you dial those levels up in the workout manually, it remembers that and it will start you out in your next workout at a higher level. Technology, the phone stuff scares you, the iPad scares you. Get one of those know-it-all brats that you got running around, your kids, your grandkids. Have them help you with your first 3 or 4 workouts. And after that, you're going to be pretty good. You're going to be able to just log into the system and then start your workout and you're going to be fine, okay? So don't freak out. Have one of them help you, and after that, I think you're going to be fine. Don't be intimidated, okay? The second thing is going to be movement. If you are not moving while those muscles are flexed, you are not training your brain to talk to those muscles first, as well as you are not breaking down the muscle fibers, allowing your body to start to rebuild those muscles stronger. Again, if you do not move while this muscle is flexed by the suit, you are basically wasting your time. I'm sure it gives some benefits. I'm sure there's some muscle growth. But if I have the suit flexing everything and I'm just standing here like this, I am getting, I would guess, 1/10 of the results. As if while that is flexing, I am squatting and I'm doing curls and I'm twisting and I'm activating all these muscles and I'm training my brain to talk to all of these muscle groups, as well as stretching and contracting those muscle fibers to be able to start to break them down to be rebuilt by the body. I cannot stress this enough. You have to move. If you're in a workout and you're doing an exercise and you're not comfortable doing whatever exercise they're doing in the workout, do something completely different. Okay? I was emailed by somebody who had hip issues and has had, surgeries or whatever you have. You could only walk upstairs on a good day. What I suggested to them was grab the back of a chair, grab a pole, grab something that's stable, your spouse, your grandkid, your kid. Have them help you balance. You want to, when that 4-second rep starts, you want to bend your knees and bend at the hips. You will start to build your front of your legs, the back of your legs, your glutes, This entire muscle chain that takes your foot from at the floor to this point, that is basically the motion you want to go through to get that entire chain of musculature to get stronger. If I can't do a squat, I can grab a bar and I can raise my leg, right? So the 4 seconds starts, 2 seconds have gone by, and then 2 seconds have gone by and back down at the ground. While this entire thing is flexing, I am still training my brain to talk to those muscles, and I'm still breaking down the muscles because they're being stretched out and they're being contracted through that range of motion, and they're breaking down and getting stronger, okay? You don't have to do the exact motions that they do in those workouts in the program. You can kind of create your own thing. Like another one I would suggest is like, you know, just the random stuff like getting groceries out of the back of the car, right? You could grab something that's got a little bit of weight to it just so that your brain has something familiar to do. When that 4 seconds starts, be down here setting that object on the top of a chair. As that 4 seconds goes, bring it up to your face like you're eating it, and then set it back down on the chair, okay? Or start here and set it on the chair and bring it back up in the 4 seconds. What you're doing there is you're training your bicep and your tricep, the front and the back of your arm, through the range of motion from here to here. You're training your abdominals to contract. You're training your lower back, you're training your upper back, you're training everything through this range of motion, and you're building those muscles and improving that mind-muscle connection to be able to do all of that stuff. One of the awesome things about EMS is the fact that in addition to flexing all those basic muscle groups like your abdominals and your back and all that kind of stuff, it's also flexing stabilizers, it's flexing, adductors, it's flexing pelvic floor, it's flexing everything that's connected in these muscle chains, okay? One of the most awesome things that I've noticed is that I've been building my house for 6 months. I have not been injured. I have not had a muscle injury. I've had injuries falling down at rocks, like, both of my shins have scars on them just from injuries in the last week. I do a lot of stupid stuff almost every day, and within a month before using EMS, I would have had major musculature, would have been tired, and then I would have changed my posture in some way, and I would have applied those loads to a different, set of muscles that weren't used to that. And now I would have overloaded those would have spasmed. I would have had some injury that would have basically laid me low for a couple weeks while I recovered. But all of that musculature is now strong. And as I get tired, even if my posture gets bad, those muscles are capable of taking up the slack. That's the only way I can explain it. If you have an area that's annoying you, say the chest is annoying you, or it's just too much all at once to have the upper body and the lower body on while you're trying to do leg exercises, you can always just select the upper body and dial it down as a whole unit, okay? You can also do the same thing with the lower body. You can long press on that and turn it off completely. There's no reason not to take these workouts and take your progress in the suit and take it off in bites and chunks. You don't have to go from having trouble getting up the stairs to rolling around and playing with your kids on the floor in a week. You will get there. You just need to take your time, not make it miserable. You don't necessarily want to be getting yourself so sore that you are having trouble doing the things that you want to do today because you're trying to get to the finish line so fast. Take your time. You will get there. The improvements will absolutely take place. Don't kill yourself in the meantime trying to get there in 3 seconds, okay? This also goes for the workouts. You don't have to have the entire body all dialed up to where everything's kind of tough. You can turn one half of it off and just focus on half, and then turn the other half on and do that. The idea for me is that it should be fun. If it's not fun, then you're pushing it too hard. You're not going to continue to do it. If you're exhausted or you're tired after doing just legs, then do your upper body in a couple days. There's no reason to not kind of break things up and take them in smaller chunks, make it more doable. And then over time, as you get stronger, I want you to dial your suit higher. I want these muscles to be flexed more. I want you to continue your progress. If your goal is to go from getting out of your recliner, getting to the bathroom and getting back without being exhausted to walking a half mile outside, well, once you're walking a half mile outside, why would you not raise that goal to be walking 2 miles, walking up hills, or doing something else? I want you to constantly be trying to improve what you can expect to gain out of the suit. There are literally so many studies showing just jaw-dropping results that people are getting out of the EMS suits. Shoot for the stars, okay? Just don't get there on day one. The other thing I want you to do, in addition to trying to dial up your suit, try to increase your range of motion. This probably mostly goes for your legs. Okay, I want you to try to get a little bit deeper in your squat. If you feel like that's too much load on your legs because your upper body is weighing, is a load that is placed on your legs and your knees are hurting or whatever, getting something stable to grab onto, and then trying to go down as deep as you can. And then if you need to pull yourself up with your hands because there's too much load on your legs, then do that. Or like lay down on a long couch or lay down on linoleum where your feet can slide easier or whatever. Start with your feet all the way out and then under load, bring your heels to your butt and then back out, okay? I want you to increase your range of motion. What that's going to do is that's going to increase your mind-muscle connection through that full range of motion. It's also going to increase the amount of muscle being rebuilt because it's at those kind of extreme ranges where there becomes more muscle breakdown and therefore more muscle being rebuilt. So I guess to wrap this up, don't let new technology, fear of trying something new, don't let that stop you from having an improved quality of life. There's no reason that you can't be getting back to where you were at some point and having a better quality of life. I would not wait 3 or 4 years until it's mainstream and in the public. I'm telling you, it works, it's amazing, and it's safe because there's no load on your joints. From starting point to having used EMS for 6 months, I think the people that have the most to benefit from EMS from that standpoint is probably people in their later years. So EMS is an answer to be able to mitigate that loss, regain it back, probably add years to your life just due to all-cause mortality being directly linked with muscle mass and with levels of activity. Try EMS out. Go to an EMS studio. Katalyst has a phenomenal sale going right now and my coupon stacks on top of it. It's under $1,000 to get a suit. That's so freaking cheap. There's really no excuse to not take the plunge and try it out. Okay, guys, I want to make sure I got that covered. I'm kicking myself in the butt for not having put out a video like this earlier. Until next time, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time.